everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And we are coming to you live from Las Vegas. I want to make sure everything is working finally. Um, it's 2021, and very excited about today. I'm excited today because of what happened yesterday. And some of you might have been with us yesterday for the podcast. We had on the show, we had Tim Sanders, which was just remarkable. I really enjoyed that show tremendously, and I wish I could go over this again. I really do. I would love to go back over the show and talk about the things that Tim was talking about, but we and we're going to actually have that available for you. Of course, you can go on Facebook, and it will be on there. We'll actually post it on our website, which is blacksuccessmagazine.com. And so we'll have that up. Just yesterday was just one of those days where just so many things happen. But we want to make sure that you get that show. What I'm doing right now is I'm really trying to share this show with one more page on because I want to make sure that we're going out all over the place, and then we'll talk about what we're actually going to do today. Okay, I think we're good. All right. There we go. Okay. So today we are going to talk about how to make sure I get how we're doing. Okay. So today we're gonna talk today about how to come up with great ideas for 2021. This is going to be one of those shows. Here, hang on one second, folks. I'm gonna pause the show for just a second because I forgot something, and I'm going to pause for just a second. Let's do this. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on a second, folks. I'm going to remove. Okay, we are back, folks. I wanted to make sure I'd forgotten something. I just don't want to forget anything. It seems like I forget things all the time. Your best laid plans always happen. So today, once again, we're going to talk about how to come up with great ideas, great creative ideas for 2021. Very excited about that. And just a reminder, if you would like a copy of Black Success Magazine, just go to our website at www.blacksuccessmagazine.com. Go down to the top of the front page, right at the bottom. You can start previewing it and checking it out, and I think you'll really like it. So how to come up with some great ideas for 2021? I think that's probably one of the biggest obstacles for most entrepreneurs or people who are on a success journey is how are they going to come up with ideas? I mean, and those things are going to make a difference in their business, in people's lives, that kind of thing. So I guess we need to come back to, and they think it's one of those mystical arts, right? That only Steve Jobs, comes up with great ideas, or only, Seth Godin or something like that. Only these great guys with these big minds, Elon Musk, only these kind of guys come up with just killer ideas. That's not true. It just seems that way. You probably come up with more ideas than you could think of, or than you realize. It's just you don't write them down, maybe, or that you just don't give yourself credit for coming up with great ideas. So we're going to talk about that today. Let's talk about it. Let's start off with what is an idea. Okay, really, what is an idea? And somebody came up with a great what's her name? I forgot her name. Oh gosh, I wish I remembered her name. I was reading an article just recently, and about this idea about creativity and coming up with ideas. And the author wrote this. They said, in her opinion, the belief is held that a lot of people simply do not understand what ideas actually are. So you need to start with one. What is an idea? And she gave it a definition. And ideas are simply a connection between two concepts. Okay? Coming up with an idea is really just kind of a connection between two concepts. Steve Jobs was in a Wired magazine interview, and he said something very interesting. He said, creativity is just connecting things. This is Steve Jobs. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they'd had, synthesize, that's a hard word to say, a new thing. And the reason they were able to do that was that they had more experiences, or they had thought more about the experiences than other people. When you come to an understanding of what an idea is, okay, just connections between things, and start thinking of them in that way, it makes the process of generating them a lot less intimidating. So that's pretty cool. And coming up with them consistently, that we're going to talk about today, is going to be even better for you too. So I think you're going to get something out of this. So if you're, just having brain farts all day long, it's the concept. Hopefully this is kind of gotten you thinking a little bit, that really all you're trying to do is you're trying to connect two concepts. Okay. Maybe, and let's say the production of the iPhone was one of those. The iPhone really is just Steve Jobs, I would assume, was just thinking about, well, and it's my puppy that just walked in the door here. For some of you saw the door open. Just Steve Jobs saw that there was a disconnect. There was something that didn't happen. People were not able to they couldn't communicate with each other with a phone and a video and be able to go on the internet too. So he said, how am I going to solve this problem? Let's put them all in one thing. That way somebody can walk around with a communicating device that can communicate like a phone. You can still get on the internet, and you can do all these great things. It's wonderful. So let's talk about some great ways to generate great ideas for 2021. First one, I think you need to really begin to look at is embracing failure. I know we come back to this all the time. And this is, and it sounds counterintuitive. You want to come up with a great idea, then why are you, embracing failure? Well, because just because you come up with great ideas doesn't mean that they are applicable in this particular situation. So you just happen to come up with a lot of them, and some of them you're going to toss. I'll tell you, I've got paper all over my office. Some of you probably seen my desk before, but I've got paper everywhere. It's because I come up with ideas all day long. They just come out of my ears all day long. Does it mean I'm going to use them all? No. Do I care? No, because one of them will. One of these ideas is going to come up just flying, and we're going to talk a little bit later about just one of those random things that I do all the time that is going to turn into being something incredibly powerful. So learn to embrace failure. Embrace failure, because part of the whole creative cycle is putting things in that may work, that didn't work, this worked. Okay. Thomas Edison said, he found 10,000 ways of not creating a light bulb, basically. He found a lot of ways that just didn't work. They weren't failures. He found ways that that particular process didn't work. Okay, just kind of embrace it. Here's a way you might do it, and I'll give you this came out of this article, and this is from I think this is from Life Hack. But you want to come up with some ideas for and I'll give you great ideas for a business. Well, here's a great idea. Come up with ways that your business will fail. Okay, let's come up with a business concept. Before you go anyplace else, figure out 5 or 10 things that would make that business fail. Okay, let's say you've got a particular shop, it's a candy shop or something like that. I'll give you some examples. The way that business might fail are lack of customers, targeting the wrong market. Maybe it's incorrect pricing, failed to market the business, wrong positioning, poor timing. Okay, well, now let's look at the flip side of that. And this is an old concept, guys. This is an old concept that you probably should really employ, and it's come back from the 20s. You look at a situation and you kind of take it apart and then you put it back together. So we've come up with 5 or 6 ways your business will fail. Okay, now let's find the solution to those problems. Okay, we're connecting 2 ideas. Okay. Ways that those solutions to those failures. Okay, the way you can keep your customers is validate those customers, right? How are you going to do it, right? How are you going to have a solution for? Oh, excuse me. How are you going to come up with solutions for targeting the wrong market? Okay, well, do something else for that. Okay, so kind of reverse engineer a business, and you will have come up with 5 or 10 ideas, and they're great ideas for solving a business issue that will kill a business. Okay, we all know things that we're going to kill a business. Let's say you have a business that really demands a drive-through because you don't have enough customers. Okay, let's find a building with a drive-through. Okay, and make that as Starbucks. I'll tell you, they have it down packed. Not just good, they have it down packed. I know because I owned a coffee business, is that they know exactly where, when, how, why, the numbers and everything else. And if you find a Starbucks in a particular area and you were thinking about opening a coffee shop, that's where you want to put it at. Because Starbucks did all the work for you already. They already did the demographics. They know exactly who, what, and I did the same thing. And we crushed it. I mean, we really did. We had a great thing. Let's look at another way to come up with great ideas for 2021. Travel. Get out of your comfort zone. I mean, travel. This is probably one of the biggest. I've been all over the world, folks. The only continent I've not been on is Africa. No, I haven't been in North Pole or South Pole, but every other continent I've been on. And in each one of those places, my creativity has gone through the roof. And the reason why you can say this is because you see things differently. You experience things differently. And that is powerful. I mean, that's probably one of the most powerful things that you can do. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, what about COVID? The COVID restrictions that stopped me from traveling. Got a solution for that too. Is that you can actually do virtual travel right now, which is really pretty cool. Airbnb has a platform up called Airbnb Online Experiences, and you can actually travel virtually and see all these places that you would normally travel to. We're not supposed to travel right now, of course, but you can actually travel via Airbnb. Amazon Explore has the same thing. Amazon Explore, you can actually go out and it's interactive live streaming where you can explore and even shop the world from your computer. Of course, you could. Amazon's figured out everything. You got to be able to shop. Okay. And Google Earth has VR. So if you've got the Google VR, the virtual reality glasses on, you can, sorry about that. We've got a lot of animals that are barking right now, it seems like. if you got the virtual reality glasses on for Google Earth, you can actually walk the streets of wherever you want to go. And that would be pretty cool. I mean, let's say you want to go to Barcelona, you can have coffee, in Spain or something like that. That would just be just fantastic. Let's go on with another way to get creative in 2021. It's called the cut up technique. The cut up technique. And the cut up technique is really taking a sentence or taking an idea that you write down and then cutting it up into its parts. Let's say it's a sentence or it's a title or it's a concept, and then mixing it up with a bunch of other ideas on the table, and then rearranging it not the same way it was when you first cut it up. This comes up, and the way this why this is so important is because we look at things a certain way. You see a sentence that says, "I love New York" or something like that. Well, you've seen that over and over again. Let's cut it up and let's put it backwards. Okay, let's put it in a different direction, and you will come up with another idea that you'll have another way of looking at things that you normally haven't looked at. There's a website, and I'll give you this website, and it's called Stick Buckets, STICK Buckets, and it's a cut up generator. And you can put an idea in that, and it will come up with ideas for you. I love these kind of websites, especially generators. Let's say you put 3 or 4 words in it, and you're looking for the title for a business, but you don't really have it down. And these generators will actually take those 3 or 4 words, and they will jumble it back and forth, backwards and forward, to come up with words that you weren't even thinking about, that you go, oh my gosh, that's a better way. That's a better way of looking at a particular business. So I think that's a pretty good idea. Another way of generating ideas for 2021 is take a different route to work, or take a different route to any place that you go to. I know, and what this does is it really just gets your mind to start thinking differently. We tend to get in a rut. If you drive to work in the morning, chances are you drive the same direction every single day, and we call that a rut. So now use a different route to work. Or even if you work from home, and you probably use the same bathroom every day. I know some of you are probably thinking, dang, you're right. I use the same bathroom. I don't even use a different bathroom. Okay. Use a different bathroom. Use a different bathroom and notice the different things that are in it. We're trying to get your mind to start thinking differently. If you take a different route to work, start noticing the things that are out there. I do this all the time, and I ride bikes every day. And matter of fact, I'll share something with you real quick. Is that this year I'm going to lose 40 pounds this year by the summer, or by my birthday, which is May, the end of May. Already down 2 pounds, which is great. I'm very excited about that. Just started yesterday. I weighed myself, put it on my Facebook page. And so if you follow me on Facebook, or maybe I'll even start this on Instagram also, is I started out 206 pounds. I'm down to 204. So, and my daughter yesterday was very gracious to me. She said to me, she goes, "Dad, but you don't look fat." And I went, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that, honey." Because I ride a lot. I really do. I ride an awful lot. But my middle section is a little round, and this last year, the COVID, it's COVID weight. Okay, I'll just put it that way. It's COVID weight that I haven't taken off yet. So, let's get back to where we were talking about. So take a different route to work and look at the different things that are out there. My wife talks about this constantly, and we were talking about it when we went out hiking this weekend, is that most men are very good at noticing stuff everywhere. And I'm just being general. Okay. Women do the same thing, but guys in particular we look at everything when we go walking down the street. As a matter of fact, the wives have to yank us by the arm and go, look out where you're walking. I'm going, well, I'm looking at this, that, and the other thing. I'm still walking, right? But I'm noticing everything. It fuels the creative side of us. So start noticing things. Just start noticing things don't just walk down the road and say, okay, I've got to get from here to there. Start looking at things. This is an interesting thing too, and on this subject. There is a whole new science that has been developed over the last number of years where scientists, people who are trying to solve problems, are looking at plants, the structures of plants, and developing new fabrics, new patterns by looking at plants and the connective and the structures of plants. Folks, that will get you going. How about just look at a plant? Just start looking at plants and start seeing how they're developed. That will actually get you going. Oh my gosh, I've been looking at an idea to connect this with that. And a dandelion might be the way that you connect it. How does a dandelion do it? How does a dandelion get its seed from here to there? Okay, get you thinking a little bit differently, doesn't it? You would have never thought, man, a dandelion, the little dandelion seeds that you blow and it kind of floats all over the place, that might have been the key to your particular problem. Okay. How about another way to be creative? You can teach an old dog how to do new tricks. This concept is very interesting in that, let's say you solved a problem. Okay, you solved a problem already. You already found out a way to connect this from this concept to this concept. How about looking at the way you fix that thing or you solve that thing and trying to improve on it? Okay, you're not looking at failures now, okay, the way I failed on things. You're looking at the way that you actually had a win or you created a solution to something and you're improving on it. The iPhone, where's my iPhone? Someplace. It's over there someplace. The iPhone has gone through, if you've got the latest iPhone, it's iPhone 12 or something like that. I still have my iPhone 4. I had an iPhone before that too. And every single time, now iPhone has already solved the problem. They've already solved the problem with connectivity and getting people there. But every 6 weeks, it seems like they've got a new idea to fix and to improve on what they're doing. That's just being creative. They're just using their creative juices to continue to come up with these great concepts. I mean, this is awesome, great stuff. The next one, and this is probably the most powerful one, we've got network. Okay, network. Okay, this, I cannot say this enough. Network, reach out, get out of your comfort zone. Many of you know that I would not call myself a master networker. I'm just really good at it. Okay, I'm just really good at just reaching out to people a lot. The strangest people, each and every week I meet some really new people. We just came up with a show that we filmed the pilot for Monday. It's called Las Vegas Speaks. And the way that show started, it came out of a sheer networking, reaching out time. So I missed the word. I was on LinkedIn, and I rarely am on LinkedIn. Excuse me again. Sorry, repositioning my camera all the time. I was on LinkedIn, and somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they said, "Hey, Sherm, got this great concept," and they said that they had changed they were combining their three LinkedIn accounts, and they wanted to make sure that I had their information. Now, it sounds to me like a scam. I mean, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm a very friendly guy, but I can tell a scam when it's a scam. And I said, okay, well, I'll take a look at your profile, because that's what it sounded like to me. Like they just want me to look at their profile. So I did. I looked at their profile, came to find out that this person was a Hollywood producer. No, this is crazy, right? They were a Hollywood producer. They just happened to be here in town, and they're working with one of my favorite entities here in town. And out of that really for just awkward, weird thing, I called the guy and I said, hey, I want to talk to you. Let's talk. Let's get together. And to make a long story short, now it's been 3 weeks later, we film our first TV show called Las Vegas Speaks. And it all started out of just a sheer networking. The whole idea of networking is to get out of your comfort zone. Start reaching out to people. Okay. And you will be it's not as though and networking is not always an experience. Well, somebody's trying to sell me something. Okay. You don't have to buy everything. Okay. But you never know the people you will meet in these particular instances. Out of the same sort of scenario, this Friday, I'll be meeting with probably one of, and I know this is going to happen, is a guy who owns an airline. And how often do you meet people who own airlines? No, you generally don't. Okay. But I called him on the phone, said, hey, want to get together? He said, sure. Why not? Okay. Do that. Every time I've met people, every time I have made a connection with people, it's because I did something it's counterintuitive. Sometimes it's scary. Yes, it can be scary, folks, for you to get up, pick up the phone and say, I am somebody who just wants to reach out and meet somebody. Okay. But the chances are that it's going to work. I have spoken to some of the most interesting people in the world because I just picked up the phone and called them. Or go to networking events. Join a chamber of commerce. I know it sounds crazy, folks, and this is not being self-serving. I'm the CEO of the Black Business Chamber of Commerce in Las Vegas, but I want to get you connected with people. And the only way you're going to connect with people, these are not people within your sphere. We're not talking about people who you know already. Reaching out to a bunch of folks that you already know is not networking. It's reaching out to people who are outside of your sphere of comfort sometimes. And I really encourage you to do that. You don't always have to, let's say you're an interior designer. You don't always have to reach out to people who are interior designers. Okay. I mean, that's going to deepen your network of people within the interior design realm, but it's really not going to add to your depth of who you are and broaden who you are. Anyways, folks, we're going to have to end because we're just running out of time. I'm going to put the checklist on this on our webpage, which is blacksuccessmagazine.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine.com. And you will be able to check out the checklist of how to be creative in 2021. Not just be creative, coming up with great creative ideas in 2021. This has been Sherman Ray, folks, blacksuccessmagazine.com. Go to our website, check out the magazine. If you'd like to be an advertiser coming up in our next issue, which is coming out in a couple of months, send me an email at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com and we will check you out. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We will see you again tomorrow on Black Success Magazine, the podcast, 8:30 in the morning. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.